然后今天我们将会讲这个，前交叉韧带损伤或者前交叉韧带重建术，同时会伴随的一些损伤，像这次的我们首先要讲到的是这个，膝关节的这个软骨损伤。
And those cartilage injuries are generally either meniscal injuries or articular cartilage injuries. And we're going to talk about both of those.
所以这个软骨损伤是包括了半月板损伤，或者是骨头表面的这个软骨损伤。所以今天我们会把这两个都同时覆盖到。
We'll start with meniscus, and basically the studies basically show that if about a 60% chance that if you tear your ACL, you're going to tear in the medial or lateral meniscus. The lateral is a little more common than the medial.
所以呢，接下来我们要从半月板开始，有很多的证据现在证明60%的几率，如果你出现了这个前交叉韧带断裂的情况，那个内侧或外侧的这个半月板就会同时造成损伤，但是外侧的可能性会比内侧更大一些。
So the meniscus tears that we're going to talk about, there's different types of meniscus tears. This is more of a radial tear. There's horizontal tears. The point that I want to make is that some tears you can resect at the time of the ACL repair, ACL reconstruction. And some tears, you can actually repair them and repair the tears at the time of the ACL reconstruction.
所以现在这个图上就是一个那个半月板损伤的一个图示，然后你看到这个图示是一个叫做 ray， 就是一个这种像是从里到外的一个这种损伤，但同时它也会有其他类型的损伤，像是那种像铜柄状的，像是这种横行的呀，然后呢有很多的有某一种某一些类型的这些损伤呢，半月板损伤你可以在做这个 ACL 就是前交叉韧带手术的时候，可以去把它切除掉，然后有一部分呢，你可以把它但是另外一部分你可以做一个 repair， 做一个这种修复术。
So most people in the States, when you get an ACL tear, and you can make that diagnosis with your hands as an orthopedic surgeon, but we always get an MRI because of these associated injuries. And you can see on an MRI, you can see a meniscus tear. These black triangles are the meniscus. It's a more dense structure, and these are the bones. And then you can see the tear.
所以呢，其实在你做这个前交叉韧带损伤的这个之前的这个手术前，他们一般这个骨科手术医生都会做一个全面的评估，然后做这个评估的时候呢，他们很多时候其实你在做这个骨科特殊实验的时候，查体实验的时候就能测出来有没有这个半月板损伤，但是做这个但是一般情况下，这个诊断这个半月板损伤的金标准还是用这个MRI。核磁共振，所以你这个图上你可以看得到，像左边的这个黑色的部分就是这个左边这个黑色部分就是正常的这个半月板的形状，右边这部分中间那一条白色的线就是这个半月板损伤的这个部分。
So again, this is how you diagnose a tear in the meniscus. And I have to say, in my experience, sometimes you would go in to do the ACL repair and you'd see, I found tears that didn't even show up on the MRI. So they are quite common.
所以像这个你可以看得到，在这个 MRI 上有显示出来有这个半月板的损伤，但是作为一个从他的经验来看，其实很多时候甚至半月板损伤都不会在这个 MRI 上面显示出来。有时候当你进手术室了，然后打开膝关节，用你的这个关节镜进入之后，才发现有这个半月板的损伤。
Okay, so what I said. Sometimes you can take out the torn meniscus part, that's called a meniscectomy, or you can repair the meniscus, and that has to do with the blood supply to the meniscus and whether or not it's repairable.
所以呢，就像刚刚提到的，半月板损伤，你可以把它切除掉，也可以进行修复，这取决于你这个半月板损伤的这个位置的血供情况，因为只有血供良好的部分才有这个恢复的这个可能这个几率，我们才会进行这个半月板修复的手术。
And as I'm sure you guys probably already know, the blood vessels come from the capsule of the joint into the meniscus, and they penetrate about, certainly in the outer third, there's a blood supply. The middle third, there's limited blood supply, and the inner third of the meniscus, that those cells just get their nutrition from the joint fluid. They don't have a blood supply.
所以，从这个你可以看得到，从这个图示上你可以看得到，这个，半月板的血供是来自于这个关节囊的位置，从关节囊的内部的一些，血的这个血管，然后它会渗透到，它会进入到这个，大概是外三分之一的这个半月板的位置，所以，半月板你可以把它分成3部分，内三分之一几乎是没有血供的，基本上都是依靠着这个关节液的这个营养来进行供给的。然后，最外侧的1/3能够获得非常充分的这个血液供给，然后中间这1/3能够得到部分的血液供给。
So if you have a tear and it involves the level the area of 3 and or most of 3 and 2, you're probably not going to repair that. But if you get into the area of number 1 here, it's going to be repairable, and you want to do a meniscal repair because you'd like to save the meniscus. The meniscus definitely is a weight-bearing structure and helps preserve the knee down the road and prevent arthritis.
所以呢，一般情况下取决于这个你一般要取决于你的这个，嗯hold on. Yeah, sorry, I had a little breakdown. 所以一般情况下呢，如果这个损伤是在外1/3的位置的时候，我们就会考虑去把它做这个修复术，因为像刚刚说的，这个地方的血供是比较充分的。然后作为半月板，它是一个很重要的一个负重的一个结构，在那个膝关节内，它其实有做到这个缓冲负重的一个作用，所以它可以保留这个半月板呢，可以最大的程度的去避免这个关节炎的这个后期的发生。
So I'm going to show you the difference between taking out from a surgeon's standpoint, taking out a part of the meniscus and a tear that is mostly in the white area, and then we'll look at a repaired meniscus, which is more of a larger tear where it's pulled off the capsular wall and there's a blood supply.
一会儿呢，我们会给你演示一些这个手术，像包括这个切除掉这个白区，就是作为最内部的这个1/3的区域，和另外一个这种比较大的损伤，但是却是从这个外1/3，从这个关节囊的位置被等于是拉扯破，这个拉扯损伤的一个红区的这个半月板损伤做这个修复术。
So this first is a meniscectomy. And you'll see, I will show this again after translation, but this is the torn meniscus, the damaged meniscus, but this is not a repairable meniscus. You see flaps and splits in the meniscus, but it's mostly in that avascular zone.
所以可以看到这个呢，这个就是一个半月板切除术的一个视频。你可以看到因为它大部分的这个损伤是在这个白区的区域，所以几乎是没有这个血液供应的位置，所以这个位置的没有太多的这种修复的可能，所以我们会把这个地方做这个切除术的处理。
So what you're going to see is different instruments used to remove the torn portion of meniscus, and the goal is to recreate that curved C-shaped meniscus that with a stable edge.
所以呢，你可以看到我们将会用各种各样不同的，你可以看到这种不同的这种手术器械去切除那些损伤的部位，然后目的就是为了能够尽量的恢复到原来这个半月板的这个形状，一个这种C形的一个形状。
So here, take a look and watch this video of meniscectomy. This is the anterior horn, which also has to be trimmed so that there's a smooth and stable rim at the end. Okay, Jay.
OK，所以看到刚刚那个是前脚的一个部位，所以这地方也是需要被剪掉的一个区域。然后你可以看到在后面也有一个损伤的部位，在后脚那地方也需要去进行一个这个切除。
So let's contrast that with meniscal repair. This is a meniscus that is, the whole meniscus is torn off the capsular wall and it's quite mobile. And you see this a lot with ACLs, tears. And it's a repairable meniscus.
所以你可以看到这个现在现在演示这个就是一个接下去要讲这个一个半月板修复的一个手术，然后你可以看到像这种是一个比如在前交叉韧带断裂的这种损伤中比较常见的，就是一整块的这个半月板从这个它的这个从它这个外侧的这个的那个关节囊的位置整个被拉断，整个被就是分离开，然后你可以看到整个半月板是松动的，这种情况其实在这种前交叉韧带损伤的情况下非常常见。
So Jay, tell them that I'm going to let the video play, and you're going to see the repair of the meniscus, and you'll see instruments coming in to place sutures into the meniscus and suture the meniscus back to the capsular wall, and that's what you're going to be seeing.
所以你可以看到接下去他会Dr. Bernard 会播放这个视频，然后这个视频的那个它的主要的这个 idea 就是让他们会用各种各样的不同的器械进去，然后但是它的这个宗旨就是想要把这个要用这种缝线把这个半月板重新缝合到这个那个外侧的这个关节囊的这个壁上，然后可以等于是做这个修复这个半月板跟关节囊的这个相对位置的关系。
Okay, so here's the meniscal repair. So these are, I'll have you translate this in a minute, Jay. These are sutures that come in and they're basically anchored back in the capsule. There's a little plastic anchor and you can tie them off. And I think he's going to place 3 sutures in here when we place 3 sutures, it pretty much holds meniscus back. And then there's a view of at the end. But I will replay this, Jay. You can tell them that there's basically 3 sutures placed, and each suture has a little bit of an anchor to hold it in place. I guess it's 4 we put in.
Okay, John, do you mind stop a little bit here?
Yeah, I would. I can start, kind of go over it again. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to walk out and then just stand beside you because I think I have a little bit internet issue in here.
Okay.
Okay. My internet inside is not very stable, so I'm gonna try to go outside here. Maybe I'll just stay on the side and just do the translation.
Okay.
So can you try to play it again?
I'm playing it again.
Yeah, just play it again and just explain it again.
Okay. So first they put in a shaver and just to irritate the wall of the capsule to get it to bleed.
开始就会先把这个 shaver， 就是一个像这种一个小刀这样子进去，先把它弄得更平滑。
And then each suture goes in and has a little plastic anchor so that once you poke through the capsule, the anchor holds it and you can secure the suture and tie it off.
所以看到他现在把这个缝线弄进去，然后每个缝线都会连接一个这种塑料的一个这种塑料制的一个这种 anchor 一个这种锚点，然后它可以用这个锚点把这个半月板跟这个关节囊的壁连接在一起，然后把它们就绑定在一起，这样把它固定在一起。
I think we're going to put in 4 sutures in this case, and you'd like to put them on top of the meniscus and then sometimes underneath the meniscus to really hold it secure.
所以从这个视频我们会有大概4个缝线，就是4个锚点，然后一部分呢会在这个半月板的上面，然后有一部分可能会在这个半月板的下面，这样才能完全的完整就把这个半月板固定在这个关节囊壁上。
And afterwards here, you see the repair. You can see how the sutures are in there and the meniscus back where it's supposed to be.
Mute my. No, it's okay. No, you don't have to. I'll just use this one, so it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, can you say that again? Sorry about that.
Yeah. So this is a view afterwards. You can see the meniscus is back where it belongs, the femur and tibia below, and the meniscus back where it belongs. It's got sutures in it. The sutures are holding it back.
所以现在可以看到，它现在就是完成了这个修复之后的，上面你可以看到上面是股，下面是胫骨，然后现在你可以看到它这个半月板已经固定在它原来应该有的位置，就是跟这个关节囊的相对位置是正确的。现在。
And the importance of that is if you take out the torn portion, you do a meniscectomy, you don't really have to change the rehab. You can weight bear on that right away. There's no problem. If you do a repair, that repair has to be protected because those sutures need to heal. That capsule and meniscal junction needs to heal. And usually you need to stay off weight bearing on that area for about 6 weeks. So that would change the rehab.
所以呢，如果你做的是一个半月板切除的手术，并不会影响到你这个术后的康复的一个进程，你可以马上做一个这个术后立刻负重是没问题的。但如果你做的是一个半月板的修复术的话，你就需要推迟你的整个负重的一个过程，因为你的这个做完这个半月板修复之后，你的这个半月板这个缝线啊，还有这个缝线之间的这种合并啊，然后它的需要一个修复的过程，一个这个 healing， 一个这个。慢慢的这种修复的一个过程，所以大概呢，你需要推迟这个负重大概6周左右的时间。
The other type of injury that occurs is articular cartilage injury, not meniscal injury, but articular cartilage that caps the end of the bones.
所以另外一种这种软骨损伤就是这个关节软骨损伤。这个损伤并跟那个半月板损伤是不同的，这个是那个附着在关节上的这个软骨部分的损伤。
And this is pretty common in ACL tears. It's not as common as meniscal tears, but it does occur. A lot of times it happens on the lateral side of the joint. You'll see bone bruising and sometimes cartilage injuries.
所以这个也是一个很常见的问题。虽然相对于半月板损伤相对比较不常见，但是在前交叉韧带损伤也是属于比较常见的问题。然后大部分情况下都出现在外侧，然后你同时会伴随着这个股骨的这个淤伤，你可以看到大部分在外侧的这个股骨淤伤，加上伴随着这个软骨损伤。
And this is an MRI. This is the femur and the tibia, and you can see the bruising shown by the bleeding here in the bone and an articular cartilage injury. The black line is the articular cartilage, and you can see if you look closely, there's little defects in the black line, and that's how it's diagnosed.
所以这个可以看到上面那部分是属于股骨，然后在这个你可以从这个白的部分就看到那个属于骨淤伤的这个部位，就是 bone bruising。然后呢，下面这个白色的线就是软骨的位置。然后如果你仔细看的话，会发现上面有2个点，这2个点呢，大概就是这个软骨的这个贴合在这个股骨上的软骨的损伤的部位。
And so sometimes it looks like this through the arthroscope. You'll see the end of the femur, but there's a large defect. It almost looks like a divot in the cartilage, where the cartilage is gone, and you're seeing the bone show through.
所以这个是关节镜像，你可以看得到的一个景象。你看中间这个区域就是它这个软骨损伤的情况，你可以看到它就是大概像一个这种向内这样是凹陷的一个，甚至可以看到一个凹陷的部分。它表面的这个软骨受伤了，然后甚至可以看到这个骨头的这个里面的这种骨质在里面显示出来。
So there's a couple ways of treating that, and you can treat it at the time of the ACL reconstruction.
治疗这个有多种方法，然后你也可以在做这个前交叉韧带这个重建术的同时，对它进行一个手术治疗。
One way to treat it is called microfracture, where you take the area of exposed bone and you make small holes in the bone, and that leads bleeding into this area. And as long as the rim of the cartilage is secure, a clot will form there, and it'll actually turn into some fibrocartilage in that area.
所以这个我们常用的一个方法叫做微骨折手术，就是它在这个骨质，就你受损的这个软骨的这个区域，它在那个上面打出很多个不同的小洞，然后让它流血，也是血流流进去，从骨髓的部分血流进去，然后会填充这个区域，然后慢慢的它都这一部分区域被填充完之后，它再恢复之后，只要你本身内部的外围的这些软骨是固定的。你就慢慢的它就会形成一个保护膜，慢慢它就会软骨就会重新生成。
And that's okay for smaller defects, but these kind of large defects, that turned out not to be great in the long term because what forms is fibrocartilage. It's not the regular articular cartilage. The collagen is different. It doesn't last as long, and after several years, it disappears.
所以你可以看到，像这个是相对比较大的一个这个软骨损伤，这种情况下一般不太适合，或者说他们的这个术后做这种微骨折手术呢，效果就会相对比较不好，因为你用这种微骨折手术之后形成的这个表面的这个软骨是这种属于纤维软骨，那个内部的这个胶原蛋白的这个排列跟这个胶原蛋结构跟正常的软骨是不同的，所以在几年之后呢，你会出现这些部分可能会受伤啊，或者是最后可能会消失掉，所以长期来说它的效果并不是特别好。
But obviously, if you do microfracture and there's an area of weight bearing where you're trying to let that clot turn into cartilage, that takes time, and you have to again stay off of it 6 to 8 weeks normally to stay non-weight bearing.
所以呢，如果你有病人做了这个微骨折手术的话呢，我们就必须要注意，因为这个表面流血，然后结痂，然后这整个是需要一个过程的，然后最后形成一个软骨是一个需要过程的，所以一般你需要无负重，在手开始第6到8周左右的时间是需要做到无负重的。
Yeah, you can still do your weight bearing, but I mean, you can still do your range of motion, and that's actually good for the cartilage to heal, but you cannot bear weight.
所以呢，你还是可以继续进行你的这个关节活动度的练习，但是，这关节活动度的练习是可以促进这个软骨的这个愈合，但是我们不能进行这个负重的，因为负重是会影响到它的愈合。
So because that's inferior type of cartilage, there's osteochondral grafting became popular, and you can do this again at the same time as an ACL, and you can take different corings from an area where you don't bear weight, but it still has cartilage, and then transfer them to the defect.
所以呢，因为我们一般受损的区域是属于负重的，相对不是下层是下方的股骨下方的这个负重区的这个软骨，所以如果这地方软骨出现损伤呢，我们现在有个常用的一个手术叫做这种软骨移植术，我们可以从这个边缘或者相对不负重的区域取出大概，你会看到图的这个左侧边那边的那3个地方，从那边取出一些就是移植物，然后移植回受损的这个负重区域。然后让它等于是重新生长回来愈合。
So these are called the donor sites, the sites that where you take the cartilage. Sometimes you can do it in the notch as well, and that is actually good articular cartilage, and you can transfer it into the defect.
所以现在你可以看到，我们现在拿的这个是这个移植物的这个取这移植物的位置是在靠外侧，同时你也可以在这个股骨槽的这个内侧的这个位置取。这些地方都有这些完整的未受损的这个软骨，所以你可以从这2个地方取出来，然后放置到这个受损区域。
So this is done open. Okay, so this was actually through an incision, but you can see a defect, and this is the idea that you're going to put plugs from somewhere else. You're going to put those in there, and they will actually heal in because there's bone underneath this. You take cartilage and bone. The bone acts as a bone graft, and then you've resurfaced the defect.
所以一般这个手术是做这种开放式的手术，而不是关节镜式的手术。然后你可以看到左侧的这个图呢，就是有这个软骨损伤的区域，然后右边呢就是用了这个骨塞，就是一个这种取出来一个软骨加上内侧的骨头，其实是一个骨片，然后塞进这个位置，然后它会慢慢因为有骨头。可是这个软骨的移植不只是表面软骨有，同时有包括下面这个骨片，所以它就会慢慢的就是它会愈合，然后最后生成表面平滑掉，然后生成一个完整的一个软骨。
So I have a film here of an arthroscopic version of this. Let me go back just a touch. So that's the defect here. It's a small defect in the weight-bearing area, and this surgeon made this film, and he's going to first go to the donor site, get the donor area. Then he's going to, so first he gets the donor, you'll see that with a metal tube. Then he's going to core out this area with a metal tube, and then he's going to use the donor, put the donor cartilage in.
所以呢，这个手术像刚刚展示的那2个照片呢，是属于开放的手术。但是现在我们会给你展示一个如何在这个关节镜下做这个移植手术。然后你可以看到，现在左上角的这个地方就是一个软骨损伤的一个区域，是在这个负重区域。然后这个手术医生呢，将会在那个我们刚刚指的区域取出这个骨片，然后把这个区域清洁完整之后，把它这个清理完整之后，会把这些骨片塞进去，然后完成这个移植手术。
So that's the defect. Now this is the donor area up by the kneecap.
所以这个就是我们取软骨这个移植物的区域。
And he's going to take a core of cartilage and bone out. There it is. That's the core. And then now he's coring out the area of the defect.
然后他现在那个受伤区域也会往里凿一个洞，然后给它等于是跟那个刚刚取的那个骨片大小同样的这个洞。
Just to show that again. This is where the defect was. He took a core out, and now he's going to use a clear plastic tube to push in the donor core. So that will go right into that tube, and there's bone there as a bone graft, and then it's capped with cartilage.
所以你可以看到现在 Okay, John, you can go.
Okay. So I'm just finishing the film here. So we're pushing the graft into place, and then I'll move on.
所以这个就是像刚刚说的，这个我们把这个骨片跟这个软骨一起塞到这个受损的区域。
No, so there it is in place. New graft, you have new cartilage.
现在他们已经回到他们该有的这个位置，然后就是有这个新的，你可以看到它有这个新的这个移植物，新的移植过去的这个软骨。
So that's the idea, is to do, that's called an osteochondral autograft. That's that procedure. You can do it with a cadaver, and then it's called an allograft.
所以这个软骨移植的手术可以做，也可以做这种自体移植，或者从这个尸体上获取，叫做异体移植。